Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to another professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I got for you today is a European match of Terran versus Zerg between some of the very best players from the continent. Now I can't help but notice that our Terran player right here, spawning in the bottom left hand corner of the map, is already sending out an SCV as well as a second one, because like Bob Ross said, everyone needs a friend sometimes, even trees, and apparently SCVs as well. We have none other than the blue Terran player who goes by the name of Soul. So what is he gonna do? I guess it has to be barracks, eh? There we go. Very first barracks has already started up. Now the Zerg player, in the other corner of the map, he's gonna go for a hatchery first on the low ground, probably much to his dislike. We are currently looking inside of the main base of Elazer. It all comes down to the Overlord Scouts, and judging by the direction they are taking right now, even though Elazer is definitely looking for it, he has not quite found what he is looking for. Look at that, right? He's checking the back of the third, which is where you see cheese very often. Over here you see cheese, over here you see cheese, and the same for the other end. He has not quite seen the center of the map yet, but I think he's gonna find out in just a little bit. Now that was a 16 hatch on the low ground, so not all too greedy of a variant. Spawning pool is coming up. Extractor already finished as well, so he is going to be able to eventually respond to this, but here we go. Now, how is Zerg going to respond? Couple drones apparently are going to be pulled off the line. Only a little bit of gas will be mined. Maybe he's going to try and offer a peace treaty, right? It's like, hey, 4 Vespian gas. In exchange for peace. Well, let's see if it works. It's a bold plan. He's got some minerals here as well. Got a feeling that the Terran player will not accept. No, Terran immediately starts fighting this as well, but he is caught in this very interesting corner. The first Marine actually ends up dying there. Two drones ended up going down so far as well. Another Marine did spawn just now. Third drone also ended up going down, but there's no denying, that was actually a really clean hold so far here by the Zerg player. It's all about not allowing these Terran units to get close to the base, right? If they get close to the base, it's very difficult to defend. Now he's bought himself enough time to actually get himself Zergling speed out. It looks like another drone will end up dying. Or rather, not Zergling speed, the Zerglings. Couple Queens will also be coming out. That's still 6 drones, though. That's still 6 workers. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. Right? I'm starting to get a little anxious here. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. Obviously, though, Elazer is going to be able to follow this up right now with a lot of drones. Those 2 queens are going to be phenomenal when it comes to base defense, and this is one of the most curious ways I've seen people defend this kind of strategy. Very interesting play, really well done. Really, really nicely done. So a couple more links come up, but while this is all going on, right, Soul is still stuck on one base. He's got himself that factory going up right now as well. There's a, I was going to say, that seemed misplaced there. There's a supply depot to finish up that wall in. Could have actually been a world of trouble there if he did not spot that. But just by seeing the amount of Zerglings that are coming out, right, Soul should know that there are more and more drones being produced. And even though Elazer did end up losing more than he probably wanted to, he's already followed up with a ton of workers, and he's definitely going to be able to push his opponent away here. So there we go. Forcing the liftoff on these barracks. Soul is going to have to make, I guess, the fly of shame. Is that a thing? Oh no, he doesn't want to do the fly of shame. Never mind. Okay, he does want to make the fly. No, I don't know if that's a thing, the fly of shame, but I think, you know, this flight is gonna go back home, right? He kind of has to. Starport coming up. Ooh, cheeky play there. Did you see that? That was Soul playing to the greediness of Zerg. He like purposefully lowered the depot. He's like, come on in, little Zerglings, and then, you know, he slammed the door in his face and had a hell buggy ready to roast those Zerglings. Bit of a Zergling barbecue going on right here close to Soul's main ramp. A third command center coming up. What a curious play. All right. So, sadly for that Hellion, actually, he did not find those slow Zerglings nibbling away at the rocks. Well, he did see it, but obviously you have to be paying very close attention to the minimap to spot those. Link speed will be finishing up here in just about, I would say, 10 seconds or so from now. But that third command center is a very curious decision, right? Elazer, while currently ahead economically speaking, is not actually going to be in that great of a spot here. He thinks he's going to be greedy here with his third hatch, but there's already another command center being built before that hatchery was even started. So both players trying to outsmart each other here in several different layers. You know, It's like a cake. Like one of those wedding cakes with all the layers. Like an onion. Like an ogre. Wait, no. But he's got a lot of layers to the builds, and both players are trying to outsmart the different layers. Now finally Sol realized, and he may have heard, that a couple Zerglings were biting away at those rocks. Rocks were almost going down. At the same time though, a Liberator is now making its way across. E-Laser though, smart man, already prepared with 1 and 2 of those spore crawlers. Well, make that 3. Another spore is now going to build up right here at the 3rd base as well. Roach Warrens, or rather Evo Chambers, are now coming up. I'm kind of interested in the fact that E-Laser did not decide to go for any tech yet. We're 5.5 minutes into the game. He's still stuck on Zerglings and Queens only. Now, this Liberator is actually dealing some damage, but what I'm trying to say is that there's still no Baneling Nest. There's still no Roach Warren. It's obviously possible that he knows about the fact that there's a 3rd command center, or that he assumes there might be a 3rd command center, but this always strikes me as just a little bit greedy. You know what's funny though? Even though this game started off in an absolutely wild manner, the upgrades here are still dead even, right? Look at the Evo Chamber upgrades versus the Engineering Bay upgrades. Both players are trying their best to outsmart each other, but in the grand scheme of things, we're ending up in a very, very normal situation, and what we would normally see as well in this matchup at this point in the game. Maybe a little bit later than we normally would see it, but... Anyways, hold that thought. Couple of Zerglings and the Queens apparently, managed to make their way on top of those Hellions, and that's actually a really nice pickup. That's gonna allow E-Laser to drone up as greedily as he likes to on the bases that he's got. Lair finally starting up here. Baneling Nest starting up at the same time, so he can start up, of course, that Baneling speed upgrade as well. +2/+2 should also be queued up right as soon as the Lair finishes, which is looking really quite nice here for E-Laser. Considering the early game, he's handled that like a champion. That was really well done. Not overreacting, not sending too many workers, not sending too few of them, not under-droning, not over-droning. Not being too greedy here with the spore crawlers, right? It's all these little things that he does extremely well that put him in a super smooth position right now. And I can imagine Sol probably wins a lot of the games at this point already. Just because it only takes one of those slip-ups and one of those mistakes for Zerg to already be in a massive deficit. Now, Sol did secure that 3rd base here already, and while he's pushing with a couple of Marines and Medivacs, he's also once again got that Liberator being an absolute nuisance inside of the main base. Zerglings now, though, forcing this army back, and I think that, indeed, the Liberator will also be picked up. You can see, though, right? It's so easy to make this mistake. Like, he really, like, Sol that is, he's really trying to force his opponent to make minor errors and then capitalize on the situation. Once again, right? If Zerglings were only left here at the 4th base, he was gonna drop off on the high ground, kill a couple Overlords, maybe, you know, do some damage to some drones, and, you know, pick up a Queen or maybe another Overlord or two. Like, it becomes very easy for Zerg to make those errors and for Terran to capitalize on it. Because if these drops go on for too long, and Sol has enough army to, for example, get another 2 dropships over on this side of the map, but to, for example, just push with a big push straight across the center, it's very difficult to defend against it. But E-Laser showing us how good his defensive style is. He's going to be able to smack back this aggression. Speaking of aggression, there's once again 2 Medivacs filled with units trying to make its way across. The creep spread is actually very far out as well, right? Beautiful play here by E-Laser. I'm honestly very impressed. I mean, Sol is trying his best, right? He's being an absolute nuisance, but he's trying his best to deal damage, and it's just not been allowed. And while that's all going on, E-Laser has been happily spreading the creep as well, even now going for a 5th base already. He even went for a macro hatchery, so this is already 6 base Zerg right now, or I guess 6 hatchery Zerg. That's a lot of production. +2/+2 right now. We see the Hive coming up here, I think, in just a second as well. Still just Ling Bane. That's something that we might want to talk about here. Oh, great mine hit there. They got some really good hits. But the fact that there is no Hydralisks does make these Widow Mines a lot more potent. What it does mean, though, with E-Laser skipping up the Hydralisk, or skipping out the Hydralisk, rather, he's going to be able to favor a faster Hive, as well as +3/+3 upgrades. So I would love to see a push right now from Sol, in particular with 2-2 finishing up here in about a half minute. I would love it if he actually commits to a big timing attack, which, judging by the production here, I've got a feeling he likely won't be doing that. He does have a lot of barracks finishing up, but more importantly, he's got the 4th command center. So I think he wants to sit back and just simply harass here for a really long time. Now, these Widow Mines are continuously dealing some damage, though. But you can see, right, with no counter really to these Medivacs. Ooh. With no real counter to those Medivacs, Soul is going to continuously harass with those instead. His other option would be to go straight to 3-3. I don't think that's a bad idea either. 3-3 obviously makes these units extremely good. He's now also getting the drilling claws upgrade. Man, these players are extremely in sync. Look at those upgrades finishing up all at the same time. But if he starts up 3-3 as fast as possible or as quickly as he can, I definitely think that Soul might be able to get a nice timing attack. As you can see, the hive is not done yet. So Elaser can't start up those additional army upgrades for his ground forces just yet. Smart move. Planetary Fortress here coming up for Soul. Since Maru was getting himself a lot of orbital commands at the 4th base, a lot of other Terran players tried doing that as well. Very difficult to pull that off. I like this though. Players once again steering back to the Planetary Fortress at the 4th. It's just so much easier to defend against it. Maru though, he likes to just simply put down his 5th base on position. He would like build it over here and then morph it into an orbital. And you're like, how do you even keep it alive? Ooh, I like this. Elaser burrowed a couple of Banelings here. Ooh. No, my god, no. Oh, Soul. He did not see that one coming. And all of a sudden, right? Ooh, everything is starting to slip right now. That was a big detonation. Still, Elaser's army is looking solid. I like the addition of the Spore Crawlers here. Very helpful against, of course, those Widow memes. The Widow memes can easily connect now, but at the very least, they're spotted. And, well, with sheer numbers, I think that Elaser is going to be able to overwhelm that. Now, hold that thought, because at the same time, Zerglings snuck into the natural. There were a lot of Widow Mines here, as well as a wall, but one of the depots was down. And speaking of depots that are down, we see another one right here in the main base at the same time. There's once again a big fight over there. Massive connections here on all of those Widow Mines, but there's no denying that SCVs are falling left and right. These Zerglings do not have their Adrenal Glands upgrade just yet, but they are going to be able to swarm forward. Here we go. A lot of Zerglings are going to commit to fighting that Planetary Fortress. A bit of a risk, but with the Zergling hug, obviously the SCVs are not going to be able to get the repair off, and the Planetary still holds. The Planetary holds. Oh my god. How did he just... No, it still dies. Just because the Banelings coming in. But man, was that a really close engagement. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if that was really worth it there, because Elaser lost himself a ton of stuff. Now, I like this. While Soul was busy managing the fight at the 4th, and he lost a lot of SCVs in the main, as well as in the natural, a couple Zerglings burrowed themselves to fight another day. And that's cheeky, because as soon as this Terran army starts moving, I've got a feeling they will just simply unburrow. There we go. And continue nibbling away at all of those workers. And obviously, they will get their upgrades in just a little bit here as well. At the same time, though, ooh, the Bio Army, oh, it eats a lot of those Baneling hits. Elaser's got a lot more, though, where that is coming from. And while Soul is desperately trying to hold on, it took only one mistake from him, right? He left a depot. He left that depot down, and all of a sudden, there were Zerglings in his base. Oh, man. Extremely impressive play, though, by Elaser, right? Notice how he's not even playing anything other than Ling Bane, right? He made a bunch of queens. He even built the double Spire right now to start upgrading those flying units as well. Once again, a lot of Zerglings coming up. This time around, though, they're not going to get the kill. Ooh, Banelings once more burrowing here. This time, though, it was spotted. Nice play there by Soul. Anyways, he's going to be able to go for the Corruptors. Yeah, this is one of the recent changes in the Terran versus Zerg meta. Since Terran players have been going for a lot of Vikings as well as a lot of Liberators to pre-counter, I suppose, Ultralisks as well as Brute Lords. You can basically kill all of the flying Terran units, force Terran once again to start producing those Medivacs, and then you can eventually morph into Brute Lords after you finish up 1-1. Some players, I know Stefano has been doing this, I believe, go for 1-1, and then they create a 2-2 upgrades as well before he even ever gets a Greater Spire. It's kind of interesting. Initially, it was meant, I think, as like a way to transition to Brute Lords a little more smoothly, but right now it's going to be Ling Bane Corruptor. Base over here in the bottom right-hand corner will not get cancelled. Great kill there by Soul, very important. He's sticking in this, right? He's still got himself 4 base economy. He's now securing himself a 5th command center too. This one is completely unscouted. And while Elaser is maxed out, he does still have a really solid army. But if the Terran player gets up to 5 base economy, all of a sudden it is much more difficult to get those kills. But you can see those Corruptors are going to town on all of these Medivacs, and that makes these stims extremely expensive. At the same time, though, Zerglings once again trying to deal a little bit of damage. Now, sadly here for the Zerg, he's already finished up 3-3, the Terran that is, so those engineering base can be killed. He doesn't care about this anymore. Another base was here secured, of course, by a laser in the center part of the map, but also that one falls. Sol is slowly climbing his way back into the game. Very, very well done. I haven't seen all too many games of Sol. I know he's a top-level ladder player. Very impressed with how he's handling this so far. Elaser, of course, being a seasoned veteran in StarCraft at this point, Scan will confirm that Zerg really doesn't have that much economy anymore. And with the 5th base now secured, right, I really do like this position here for the Terran player in blue. Still, though, he's got to be careful. If he takes one big Baneling hit, it's lights out for him for sure. Now, interestingly enough, both players are staying on a very low-tier army. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Well, here's the Corruptors puking over all of that command center, and while the Marines are stimming forward, the Banelings are ready to connect here as well. Once again, great splitting there. The Marines will take that hit, but obviously the damage there ramps up very rapidly. At the same time, SCVs looks like they fell over at the 5th base location. Zerglings coming forward, trying to get the kill right here on the Planetary Fortress. Mules were dropped as well. Planetary, though, deals a stupid amount of splash damage. The Mules are repairing this up as well. And once again, I think Sol manages to hold the Planetary just barely. Whew! Stop playing with my heartstrings like that. It's so scary, man. Once again, gliding off creep. Beautiful plays by Sol. He's been behind supply-wise for a really long time, but he's making the best of this unit composition, denying the creep continuously. Now he's going deep onto the creep, though. A couple Widow Mines will be picked off here as well. Solid target firing right there by Sol, trying to pick up those Banelings first and foremost, but that is still a lot of damage. And while that's all going on, we see Zerglings once again flooding every single base of the Terran, and eventually Elaser obtains the victory. What a sick match. That was really cool. I kind of wanted it to go on for longer, you know? I wanted to see more. I wanted both players to just mine out the map and stick to Lingbane Corruptor, as well as like Marine Marauder, Medivac Mine, and any Terran unit that starts with an M, really. That was absolutely excellent. It's kind of funny though, because Zerg players don't really want to play Hive Tech very much anymore lately. Like, it's become one of those things where Brute Lords just get countered relatively easily, Ultralists get countered very easily, so a lot of players just sort of stick around on Ling Bane for a really long time. And because Zerg players don't tech up, there's really no reason for Terran players to tech up, you know, to Ghost or to, for example, Liberators and all those units either. It's nice to have, obviously, but we see these really interesting games where it's just like both players trying to just fight each other with the basic units instead, and it's really exciting. I'm a big fan of this. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as future videos go live. A special shout out to the Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.